Look at SEC. Look at him drive. And then finesses up a shot. And the rebound is taken inside by Powell.
Great defense there by Powell. Look how fast Ole Miss got back on defense.
They did. Their coach is a high-intensity, urgent coach in every way. Washington. Little mid screen, no switch, the double, the feed. Davis with a three. Short, may have been deflected. Trimble the other way.
I think Powell got a piece of that.
That was good defense against Purdue at that time.
Excellent.
Trimble trying to ply his way inside. Cadeau. He's defended by Morrell. Cadeau looking underneath. Washington got it.
Well, Morrell, 6'4", 205 pounds. He's a powerful guy.
He really is. He is strong. He is tough.
Washington.
Screen like that, you have to give the defender time to get out of the way.
Davis picks up his third. Cadeau. With the defense by Morrell, going inside.
Finally, good work off the offensive glass just then. But they got a big hill to climb here. Their job right now is to try to get this thing down to about 10. And Carolina wants to keep the pedal down. They got a mismatch down low if they want to take it. Here it is. See if they clear out on it.
Washington stepping middle and makes it look easy.
Good execution. Good.
But with the ability to see over the top offensively and deliver a strike to Tyrese Proctor off a nice cut.
Cooper flag, and when he's in there, their chemistry is so tight. Man is free downstairs. Washington looking to set a screen. Jackson's the open man. The rebound comes right to Washington, right in his lap. On the bounce feed, Kinesi outside. Alako, no. Alako does hit 46% beyond the three-point line, but not that one.
Yeah, he was really the only one they could get going from beyond the arc in yesterday's win over Pittsburgh.
Jackson for Washington. Boy, the big guys are making them.
Yeah, Washington, their Saturday game against Notre Dame, they came directly to Charlotte. So I wanted to see if that travel would play a part in the matchup between the two teams.
Davis with a nice give. Washington with the stuff.
Pulls up for the jumper and hits. It has been scored a 2 on the floor right now. Must have had a toe on the line, but it's the biggest lead of the night right now for the Blue Devils.
So Carolina's going to have to keep up the pressure on Duke. They really didn't get into the ball on that last possession.
Jalen Washington takes a bump and finishes.
Which is a 1-point home loss to Stanford. Recksteiner for 3, that's around and out. They played a very challenging non-conference. They are playing really well down the stretch. I wonder if they get more grace for the lack of bad losses and for the way they're playing down the stretch if they finish the season strong.
Do you have a problem with Washington hits? Do you have
A game on TV, just don't screw up. It's that easy, right?
North Carolina, 5 baskets by the starters, 1 each. So sharing the sugar and getting a nice little one-hander.
And great passing against the zone by the Seminoles. They've settled for a number of threes, but the way they're shooting the basketball, you don't have a problem with that. Just like Hubert Davis has no.
The ACC, number 2 all-time, R.J. Davis continues to move up that list. Year number 5 for him. Washington with the catch will lay it in. And
each and every game becomes extremely important for them right now, especially on their home floor to try to walk away with the win. They've given great effort. Been difficult to stop North Carolina on the defensive end of the floor, however.
Conversely, they're all critical for North Carolina. Trying to get back into that NCAA tournament picture. They're going to work it deep inside for Washington.
Once a foul, however, if the arm does not extend, it's a legal play. You're okay to dislodge players with your shoulder with the basketball off the bounce. You cannot push off with your arm.
Trimble will drive it. Kicks it downstairs for the slam by Washington.
Job in the early going tonight.
And Seth Trimble is their leading rebounder. And he'll be the smallest leading rebounder if he continues this since 1950 for North Carolina.
Washington up and in.
1 through 5 and compete.
Oh,
O'Connell, a rare turnover for him among the nation's leaders in assist-to-turnover ratio, but everybody's been generous with the ball tonight for NC State. Washington's all by.
Ian Jackson with 5 points early. Back-to-back games where he hadn't made a field goal before that, and Jackson flies in for the rebound here off the missed three. Pushes for Davis. Washington, a rare three-point try. He hits. There's 6 to play first half. Withers, same spot, and rattles it out to Washington.
With a dribble down, will scoop and miss from close range. Another rebound for him. And again tapped out high. And another chase for that. Still alive. Carolina picks it up. Lofted out for Davis. Moving it inside. Washington for the slam.
And that's on air.
But that was after 2 offensive rebounds where Carolina overall had played pretty good defense. They just didn't clean it up with an offensive board.
Jalen Washington into the game for the first time for the Heels. Cadeau off to Washington, softly off the glass and good. Drake Powell in off the bench, gets a good look, but he can't knock it down. Jalen Washington.
And you're Earl Grant, and you think you're building something. You're coming off a 20-win season, and all of a sudden you're back year 1, even though this is your 4th year at the school. If you're gonna use the baseline as a defender, you've got to shade it that way. You can't give it up. You've got to use that defender as baseline as a defender.
Boston College hanging around. Almost 7 minutes into this one. Davis takes it to the basket, lays it off beautifully in a slam by Jalen.
It's a big game at the big time.
That's a beautiful pick and roll, but the missed layup, Washington follows and drops it in.
And this, well, and they're starting to get an edge at the free throw line, which was we talked about the advantage of Wake. Carolina's only been there once, despite getting inside.
Washington, another easy one on the feed from R.J. Davis. Good screen by Hastings, and just when you think BC is in a little bit of trouble, they tie the game up on the 3-ball by Chaz Kelly. His first basket.
It's a 37% shooting team in conference for 3, so they're capable.
Davis has really been so.
All kinds of room to maneuver.
Ian Jackson, and that was forced up there, but a follow.
And the travel squad.
Wow. Hand has been spectacular. That is his 4th 3. Great pass by Davis and the easy lay-in.
Cooper Flagg may be the National Player of the Year, but Ian Jackson making a run at it as well.
I think it's a pretty fair debate. I want to see him again. Underway here in the second half. And let's see if the caliber of play gets a little better. Well, it does right away on the slam by. So it'll be Cadeau to put it in. Here's Washington, swishes it in. A 3-point.
Well, by this environment, the transfer from Duke, Jalen Blakes.
Didn't get a lot of playing time while he was at Duke, but boy, has he really blossomed at Stanford. And a little bit of a reclamation project for Kyle Smith while he was there, but his confidence is just growing. It's good to see him blossom there.
Drake Powell, the freshman, trying to go along the baseline. And how about that shot? Bang. Played at 169. North Carolina led by Davis. Going to dump it down low. That's a nice move there in the lane by Washington. The corner for an even better shot. And able to rattle it in is at Donovan Young, his 2nd 3 of the game, the freshman out of Pasco, Washington.
And Washington thought better of launching another 3, so I'm sure he heard about that in the timeout. But it really, Carolina has kept Reno under wraps for the most part, and been knocking down the middle. So athletic, to talk about scoring at 3 levels.
And that's a beautiful feed for the slam.
He's going with a small team. It's been good for him.
but you're going to give up some offensive rebounds.
And Cal averages over 12 offensive rebounds per game, and it's rare that you ever come into the Dean E. Smith Center and find a team that's a better offensive rebounding team than the Tar Heels. However, that's been the case often this year.
Here's Jalen Washington, the hero of Saturday, over Sissoko, and the jump shot good. Two of them from behind the three-point line. Campbell digs in again, and look at Washington do a good job against Lee Dort. Here's Davis backing out on the bounce.
You know what would really help RJ is to either get to the free throw line or see a layup go through. I mean, regardless of how great of a player and scorer you are, it's always good to see it easy to go through.
So you can hear it too. If you're down the liver, you can hear it. I was admonished every night when I got home.
I'm sure.
Here's Davis now working on Blacksher. Boy, Cal's done a really good job of staying in front of RJ Davis in this first half. Jackson was 7 to shoot. Now here's Washington over Dort. And another jump shot for
O'Connell from Middlebrooks. Washington to beat. He went hard to the basket and left it short.
What a great play by Washington to just step away.
Quick look. Washington the catch and the flush. Corner Powell. Baseline around Ishmael Duke. Can't finish. Washington collects and scores on Carolina's second change. First time earlier in the half.
We talked about those block shots. He has 2 of them.
Wolfpack's missed all 9 of their three-point attempts here in this first half. Cadeau working on Parker. All the way to the basket. Washington off the baseline. Jalen Washington.
Cadeau's the guy you'd like to get into the lane to create something.
Here is Cadeau. Washington right back to Cadeau. All the way into traffic. Trying to get it to Washington. Does for the dunk. What a pass.
There's a nice look. Oh my, Marcus Burton showing you that explosiveness. But I think if you're Micah Shrewsbury, obviously you could trust Alako with 2 fouls, but the situation of the game, good take. And nice guys on the smaller Elliot Cadeau there, got to his spot and then created the space he needed.
Oh, what a feed. Right down the grand of the lane. Seal and sink, Jalen Washington.
Oh, wow. Terrific use of the glass and the hard drive and pull up. But yeah, there were parallels in terms of who you're with from your junior to senior year. The personalities and the games of those guys can make a difference.
Washington.
Empty block, 5 out, and they can put a lot of pressure on you with their ability to cut and move without the ball. That's how they put pressure on the rim.
Debbie, you mentioned the Tar Heels still without Seth Trimble, so Ian Jackson stays in the starting lineup. They go inside with Jalen. The bottom of the net for Rain Smith.
Rain Smith is so good filling behind that penetration.
Quieting the crowd. Jalen to watch, and Hepburn gets the better of Davis there. Cadeau hands it off. Jalen Washington.
Elliot Cadeau taking it in there. You certainly don't mind Cadeau taking it in there and kicking it out to Davis, but I'd like to see the ball go towards the basket.
Some pressure comes. It's floated over to RJ Davis. Got Yaw out in the front defensively with his great length. Cadeau inside, throws it up for Washington, who puts it in right before the 1-foot fadeaway. Rattles it in, and Colby Dugan's one shy of a career high with 15.
Shades of Jack Sickle.
I did not know we were going to get a Jack Sickle reference on tonight's broadcast. Cadeau inside. Washington with a stop. He's had the first. Zerlini, the finisher.
Well, you want to get out there and you want to deny the ball, but they're really looking to pass to the backdoor cutter.
Cadeau again on the roll for Washington, and it was Eddie's stat card. I didn't know it was at the table the whole time. Washington off the miss from Cadeau, shoves it. Treble 3.
Underneath. Tie game. Well,
It's his second. He's only been in the game about a minute and a half.
He's got the bottom spot on the free throw line. You usually don't see that call.
Right. Slithering inside for the slam is Washington. Left wide open. Aberdeen has been a couple of those plays.
Look how quickly the conversion for Florida is from defense to offense.
Back to 16.
Good screen up top by Washington. That's why he's open.
Pass inside for Washington and a quick strike. Playing with a leaner block. Davis tight D on him. Cadeau. Washington with a slam on the alley-oop.
Washington took the body that time, and that allowed Withers to come in as a secondary defender and get the block.
That's a nice bounce pass, and the bucket is good.
Camera angles and real-time stats. You can also watch on the ESPN app. So a split for Terry. We're tied at 55. Jackson didn't get Powell to bite. Cadeau for Jackson. Shuffled the feet. And now Cadeau on the drive. Wrapped it around for Washington.
Your screen. And yeah, just talked about the importance of what's efficient and how they track all their different shot types, etc. You're seeing it more and more in the college game.
Yeah, but also, Nate Oates has higher guys from the NBA. You see the great pass right.
How about the pass from Trimble to Washington? It's in that first half. Davis for three. Pops out. Washington to follow. And that. R.J. Davis. That one rattles out. The follow-up, though, by Jalen Washington. In low. Oh, what a finish.
Where?
And that is Washington with the and one.
He was able to catch and lay it up as he saw a teammate in trouble, didn't stand waiting for the basketball, made it happen.
Jalen Washington, nice cut to the hoop.
And Christensen showing off his veteran leadership and expertise and experience in the paint. However,
5 seconds to shoot. Davis off the jab step. Too strong with it, but the offensive board and followed by Washington.
Graduate student into the 5'9" point guard for some paint points. Washington at the other end, finger rolls it home. Jalen Washington, Carolina All-American. Davis missed it. Washington did not. It's for Jalen Washington, perfect from the field and from the line. And Cadeau trying to throw it to him. Rogers knocks it to Washington. Oh, short jumper is good. So 7.
A little away from RJ, not having the ball in his hands, allowing him to be the playmaker.
Yeah, this is a 3. He's 0 for 5 from out there.
Now it's hard because Cadeau's been great. Right? He shares it well. He can move the game with his playmaking. Strong off the bounce, takes care of it. But you've got to create opportunities for RJ to do that.
How about that? Beautiful wraparound inside the line. Scrum. Stevens pull up. That's no good. Rogers flying in. Hurricanes still playing their tails off, but Carolina's just overwhelmed them as this game's gotten long. Washington.
Up, allowing the guard to just go underneath, which takes the roll away, right? Just a simple thing. It takes an option away of the little handoff.
And Cadeau, this is really going to fire up the crowd. On the deck, up 30, then Washington. Cadeau nearly jumped right into him.
Adams, the pull-up, and too strong as it comes down to Washington.
Good defensive possession for Carolina to force that shot.
For those who haven't seen Carolina yet, how much better? Whoa, as Cadeau goes up top. A turnover. They're running. They got numbers. Cadeau. Oh. Not for long.
Sherry, who averaged 9 a year ago. And I tell you what, the addition of Matthew Van Komen One of the big beneficiaries is going to be Sam Sherry, and there's Jalen. They're firmed up a little bit.
But one of the issues with the portal and the ability to be able to transfer anywhere is going to. You see a guy having a performance like this.
Right.
Coaches say he can play at the highest level.
Here's Washington again for a dunk. At the half, the reason coaches like first games is they get a lot of tape. They can work through their team, find out what it's like when the lights are on. Well, both schools have seen the lights go bright and dark here tonight. Davis inside, Washington, the shot fake and the score.